Here are all 8 fidget toys or fine motor skill improvement things I 3D printed in April. Some have upgrades, some don't, but stay tuned and check out all of them as I explain them, as well as check out Ruthless Ideas to see the full intricate design of how I made them and the engineering behind why I did choose that way. Enjoy! So this was the first part I 3D printed. What it does is, it goes around here, and just spins around. So this was a fidget toy I made to help with ADHD and autism, with a little bit of like, kind of just some focusing and a little bit of cerebral palsy, just because it's kind of hard to mess with. So, but main thing, just spins around. Later in the month, I tried to upgrade them. So this goes on top of here and was supposed to make it so you could put a little piece like this in and spin it around. It did not work because it was all flimsy. I then went and designed 2 different parts so that I tried to do this one so it kind of aligned with the channels here. And then I also made it where it wasn't an upgrade, it was an attachment, it was just an upgrade, so I made the part better. So then this was the final part that I made. So it just spins around. You kind of have to push a little hard, but now it's not really static. It's more fluid and you can kind of just keep going with it. So way better upgrade. So this is the next fidget toy I made, where you move this and it just floats back and forth, and then you have these little BBs in there that roll back and forth. They work a little bit, but yeah, kind of go like that. And then these are all the mistakes that I made. There was a lot of trial and error just to make sure both sides like would fit in and it would actually go in, as well as a lot of these have these channels to hold the BBs so that it like moves around. So some of them worked better than others, but no upgrades made to this. But yeah, this was this part. It helps with kind of just easy movement of hand-eye coordination, as well as just the soothing rhythm of the same kinds of things that help ADHD and autism. So this was the next fidget toy. What it does is you spin this around. There's a magnet that connects with the BBs, and then you just grab it. And then if you want to go free, you just put it in the middle, and then you can just spin it around. So this one is pretty cool. Kind of the same thing of a fidget toy, and then I had a couple misprints as well. And then for the upgrade I made it where this centerpiece was just a little stronger, as well as I tried to make it pinch, it didn't work. So, but yeah, so it helps with the same soothingness as ADHD and autism and a little Down syndrome it helps with, but it's just the pinching as well as the soothing movement of these little BBs in there. So this was the final fidget toy aimed thing I 3D printed. So what you do is you hold it like this, put your thumb on top, and then you move it back and forth. And so it's more of an auditory and stimulation to kind of help while as you're working you can hold it, say like in your left hand, and then you just, so you have the auditory feedback where it helps, as well as kind of that same repetitive motion that you can continue to do while you're working or doing something like that. So I made a couple problems first to start though. Is that thing way too small, didn't work. And so then all of these were more or less trying to figure out how to make these kind of pinchers to make the sound, because I wanted it where you could pull it out, and if you can see in there, the bottom part has the like kind of, I don't know, like half circles that does make the sound, but then you can see it's a little attached there. So I just wanted to make it simple and easy where you just boom with your hand the whole time, and it's super simple and easy. And then something I found out after was you can go like this and then spin it. So I was trying to stay away from like fidget spinner type toys and make them all unique, but you know what, it is what it is. But yeah, so you put it in. You just got to watch out for that. And you just push it right in a little hard. So you can use 2 hands, but the whole point was just, it's got that little divot there. Boom, 1 hand. And then for this one, nope, wrong one. This one, I tried to do something different where I just kind of made it a round on the outside instead of how this one is with like the points. This one worked great for the first like 3 tries, and then it was just done because it just wasn't strong enough to keep it pushing out. So that was a big old problem, but I did end up making it work. Some other things I could have done though is like maybe put a button at the top where it raises this to give it a different sound instead of just the same annoying noise, but that's way more complex than I was trying to make these, and I was trying to just make it as simple as possible. So that is the last 3D printed fidget toy I made, but now here are the kind of fine motor skills and fine motor improvement toys that I made. So this is more of a fine motor skills improver. So what you do is you have this little top that goes on in this little cylinder with threads, and then you grab this, put it on, and then you would twist it onto it. The main problem I had with this is 3D printing threads. So like there you go, that's tied on. It doesn't go all the way down. 3D printed threads are extremely difficult. Then you twist it back off. And then if you want to use something else, you could use this. So, but I had a couple misprints as well. As you can see here, printed the threads with supports, did not work. But then the upgrades I made were having a plus sign instead, so that you could use, say, this, where you have a circle, which can look or feel more like you're twisting a door handle. So you twist it like that, and you're using, instead of just like these, you can use 3 fingers, and it's just a better grip. So this is working on fine motor skills of like turning like door handles, or turning your pinching, or pinching pencils, or kind of just the whole fine motor skills that some kids with disabilities struggle with. So this is the next fine motor improvement kind of toy. So what it is it's a maze, as you can see, and the whole point was to have something go in here and follow the maze, and then you have a little kind of insert that you'd put in and it'd go around. The problem is it's extremely small. Like this is my hand. You see how small that is? So nothing fits in there. That size is way too small to even 3D print. So I made some improvements. The only problem is, first off, I printed it with supports. Awful idea, just ruined it. And then here I did it as well, and it works. It's still extremely small though. So if I'm going to take this any further, I need to way size it up where I can have the like insert in there be bigger, where I can 3D print it or use like a magnet or something that actually you can see. So that is a giant problem that I had. So no upgrades made to this. If I'm going to upgrade it, I need to make it way bigger. But this just helps with kind of fine motor skills of pinching and moving, but it's problem solving on the go. And then you can add games to this where you can do a time trial of, say, A to D. Boom, you got to get there in a certain time. A to C, got to get there in a certain time. Or you can spell stuff. So if you want, say, hey, spell cab, you go C to A to B. And so it's problem solving as well as learning, as well as trying to spell. So there's a lot of different things you can do, which could improve the usability of this kind of fine motor skill improvement toy. So this is the next fine motor skill toy. So what you do is you have this kind of box here, and then you would put a magnet in the bottom here, and then you'd put a magnet in this as well. And then there's these little slots where you can put stoppers so that they block the magnets. And then you put this into this box. The magnets would repel each other and it would float up. And then this little top here has that little indent. You would use a pencil to push it down and slowly kind of align it so it goes all the way down, and then you spit it out this little slot right here. This was a giant miss on my part. Was I did it with a pencil, did not work at all. This would just flip every single time. There's no control. There's no way you can do it. So the only way you can do it is if you have like a magnet, kind of, I don't know, some type of magnet where you put it on and then it holds it to it, but just awful, does not work. So a couple of the mishaps I had was way too small, or in this scenario, you see that? I accidentally put infill or like supports in there, couldn't get it out, didn't work, and kind of just awful. So the next improvement I made on that was making this first off taller. So this is like the insert, so you put the magnets in there still, but then you have the plus where you would, my bad, insert this here so that you can slowly push it down and it doesn't like float or like flip, and you still kind of have to make it steady. The problem is it wasn't strong enough, so this one I did, and I actually cut up so that you could put a couple more magnets, but now the magnets are stuck in there. That's an oversight on my part, but it would still do the same thing, and it's just a lot taller where, boom, and now you can flip it back out. So still works the same, just made a little bigger and better. So this was my last fidget toy for the month of April. I tried to combine fidget toy with fine motor improvements. It semi-worked. So we're going to start here. So this was a cool little thing where if you spin this ball around like this, you'd get to here, and then you have a spring and a little tab that you would flick and it would spin to the middle. And so this works, and it's kind of cool, and it just helps with like kind of trigger discipline. It's super simple and is not, I don't know, it didn't work as well and didn't cause as much like thought behind it, where it takes some, you learn more fine motor skills. It's more of a fidget toy. So this next one's interesting. You're gonna have to do some picturing with me. First off, for some reason I don't have any what are they called, rubber bands in my house, which really suck. So that kind of ruined this product. But what you do is you have these two spots here, and then you would put, oh, they're already in there, sweet. So you'd put a rubber band in here, and this can go in and out. So you just take it out, put the rubber band in, pinch this down, and then the rubber band would go through that little slit right there, and then go out the other side and connect to this one on the other side. So then you'd have two. And then in here, there's that little tab in there. Magnets would go on the back side because you can remove it. Magnets would go in there, and then as well as in here. And so the rubber band would hold them. So these would be mounted down. Rubber bands would hold them out, and then you would use your fingers and pinch them together. Then the magnets would hold, and then you would pull them apart. And so it's using fine motor skills as well as a little bit of kind of fidgeting. But upgrades I wanted to do, make this a holder, and just didn't work. I didn't know how to make it, how to make the holder. How do I make it where it's wide enough where it holds it? And so this one, I have a different idea, which I kind of talk about in my video, but I think I'm going to make it a table where you have each of these their own different fidget toy. So then I have a base of it, because if I'm making it just a handheld product, it's not really going to work. This one was the one I tried the most and failed the most with. So the goal was to get it so you could spin around these balls. So as you can see, it's just a nice little movement with your thumb. You just spin it around. Super simple. And then if you need, boom, you take it out, go back in, magnet, or the little tab in there. So you can see that little tab hits it every single time. This one I tried the most like outgoing with. So these are all the products I tried to use to make make it spin. So my big thing was trying to use magnets. So we'll try with these ones first. Yeah, I struggled here. So what these do is you'd have a magnet in here, and then you'd have little magnets in here. I had to break it because the magnet stuck too quickly. So, but those little slits, they'd fit in perfectly, and then it would go from one side here, and then this side would go this way. And so you'd pinch it, and then you'd be able to spin it with your thumb. And then hopefully the magnets would grab the balls and spin them. The only problem is magnets were, like, there's too much space here and too little magnet strength to actually grab them. So threw that idea out the window, and then I said, okay, let's try to make it where you have more magnets. So like going this way, there's more magnets in the middle, and then it would go on the outside with some more magnets. Just trying to add some more magnets. So then you'd fit them together like that. Oh wait, it doesn't work. I might have picked the wrong one. Give me a sec. Yep, nope, still doesn't work. And then I was just really pissed and gave up. But the whole point was to go this way and spin it. But I tried it with magnets in there. Didn't grab it at all. It's just way too thick. So then I tried to take it a different approach where, hold up. How did I screw this up? What? Okay. Well, I'm an idiot. First off, I forgot stuff. But first off, this would have magnets in here. You'd put this in, spin it around. Again, magnets weren't strong enough. So then I took it this way, where you'd have, oh gosh, this one was annoying. So here, a magnet, wrong one. Here, a magnet. And so then these you would put together like this. And then obviously the magnets would be attracted to each other through it, but then connecting to these. The problem was I wanted them to kind of pinch and push out so that you could insert this into one side, like here. So you see it's a little lip there, lipped on that side, and then this would go in and it would push apart. That didn't work. So then I tried smaller magnets where I had to break it because I couldn't get them out, but they were way smaller. And then these would fit together, and then you'd put that in like that, and then they'd push out and hopefully be strong enough to push away, as well as allow you to spin it. Didn't work as well. And so then obviously the final, I gave up on the magnets and just put a little tab, but it spins now, works, it's easy. So very sad. I tried to do something good and use magnets and be a little creative, but I 3D printed it way too big. It just didn't work, and it was just overall extremely annoying that I couldn't figure out a better way to do it. So I got it to work. Hopefully I can take this now and make it where it is way better, but also can incorporate these as well and accommodate to more kids with disabilities. So that is all the 3D printed parts I made for April. Go check out Ruthless Ideas. I posted all the individual videos on there. It's kind of my main channel where I invent and design a bunch of cool stuff. But thank you very much. Please go check it out. Thank you for everything y'all do. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.